Hello, everyone. We are back. This is episode 2 of the Goldfish Boys. I'm Seth,
I'm Sam.
and today we're talking about Parasite.
Parasite.
Yeah, Sam.
What to watch? I watched it on my movie binge day. That day I watched about 4 movies all in one day. 2 of them with this guy. One experience. Had to say Parasite had to be one of the top ones I watched, which
Yeah.
were The Godfather, Taxi Driver, and Parasite.
You did all that in like a span of 24 hours, right?
Yeah. hmm
That's crazy, dude. All right. So, what did you hear about Parasite before we watched it?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I barely knew anything about it. I thought it was a completely different movie that we were gonna
Why?
watch.
Oh, yeah, because you thought that there was going to be an actual Parasite, right?
Yeah, I thought there was like an actual monster in the movie. I mean, there was. There was.
I remember during the movie, you're like, where is the monster? When is it going to show up?
I'm like, where's the big CGI monster?
Yeah. Maybe that should be the Parasite 2, is the CGI monster comes out of the basement instead.
He basically was. No spoilers, but there's a freak in there. Like,
All right, so this was 2019, re-released in theaters because did you hear about the new Mickey 17 movie that's coming out?
no.
So Bong Joon-ho, it just came out as of a couple days ago. His new movie with Robert Pattinson. It's a sci-fi film called Mickey 17. And I'm assuming that's why Parasite was back in theaters and we were able to watch it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Parasite, known as one of the greatest films of all time to a lot of people already. Yeah. I see that a lot on the internet. Many people would agree that it's one of the best films to come out of the 2010s.
I could see that argument. Out of the 2010s, yes.
Yeah.
A best film of all time. I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
the recent.
And it was particularly groundbreaking because it was the first foreign film to win Best Picture,
First foreign film.
period.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the first one ever.
Huh.
Yeah, so 2020, I believe that's when the Oscars were for the 2019 film year. And it was the first one to win Best Picture. I remember a lot of people were like shocked because it wasn't like the front runner leading up to that.
And who directed it?
Bong Joon-ho.
Okay. And what was like his work before this? Like, do you know?
So he'd been making films for decades now.
Yeah?
Yeah. In the early thousands, he made this film called Memories of Murder. You like the Zodiac, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. David Fincher's Zodiac is very similar to Bong Joon-ho's Memories of Murder.
So it was like a
heavily
serial
structured.
killer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did that, which is a thriller, a grounded thriller. I believe it was also based on a true story.
Does he like focus in like horror / like more of an unsettling type theme?
Thriller stuff. Yeah. Most of his films all have those kind of elements.
Yeah, I was unsettled throughout that movie. Yeah.
Parasite. Yeah. So he did Memories of Murder. Then, I believe in 2009 he made this film called Mother, which was also.
I heard of that one actually.
You've heard of Mother?
I've heard of Mother. I don't know what it's about, but I've heard it's good.
Yeah. Oh, it's phenomenal. It's about a mom who is, I believe, trying to prove that that her son is innocent of murder. So that's another like thriller procedural type film. Yeah. So he did those 2, and then in 2013 he did Snowpiercer. Have you heard of that one?
I have heard of that one.
It's an adaptation of a novel. It's like a post-apocalyptic dystopian story where the last population on Earth is all on a train.
Yeah. Okay. And
With Chris
it's
Evans.
played by not John Krasinski, is it?
What?
It's not John Krasinski, the main actor, right?
No, it's Chris Evans.
Chris. Oh, there you go, Chris Evans. I knew it
Yeah.
was some popular actor, but I know the movie you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and that film's phenomenal. And then I missed a couple other films that he made earlier before that. Like he did.
He has a lot of like
His
good
bangers.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. He did. Man, I'm struggling to remember the name. Oh, it was called The Host, which, funnily enough, is actually the movie that he's done that features a huge CGI monster. Like it's literally a huge CGI monster that's rampaging around, I think, Korea. Then did you hear of Okja 2017?
Oak what?
Okja.
No.
Yeah, that's also featuring like a huge CGI.
I gotta watch that.
And
yeah.
the animal's name is Okja.
The animal, the big CGI monster is named.
It's like a big hippo thing. Yeah, it's like a hippo cow.
Nice.
And throughout all of those films, or at least the majority of them, there are elements of like the thriller, crime, grounded semi-scary stuff. And then there's also the elements of class.
Oh,
And
like the structural society and all like that.
absolutely,
I
yeah.
love that. I love that in Parasite, like
Yeah.
how it showed, and it wasn't like they talked about it, right? But they like even visually showed it, just like
Yeah.
with the cinematography, them
Yeah.
being underground, like the filth and all that, them being washed away, the house even being on a hill,
Yeah.
right? I love that, like the house being on a hill, have them having to walk up and down from it, like it was beautiful.
Yeah, really well staged, and all of his other films, to some extent, have that same politicism. Like it's Snowpiercer, like the front of the train being the rich, back of the train being the poor, and so it's not only just those themes, but also like the weird elements of humor being mixed with the thriller aspect.
There was humor, yeah, there,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like a what do you call that kind of humor that's in a lot of films today?
It's almost like a black comedy because it's like bad stuff is happening, but a lot of it's funny.
Yeah, it would make you laugh. Like that whole scene. I guess we're getting into spoiler territory now, or do you want to hold off on
I'm
that?
gonna hold off a little bit.
We'll hold off on
Yeah.
it. Okay. Well, basically, it's almost like a choreographed joke at the same time. There was a lot of scenes where they were just in sync, right? And it felt
Yeah.
like it was like staged, right? Well, of course it was.
I guess
but
it's like very goofy, also.
yeah, like if you looked at it out of context, you'd probably laugh, right? But like with the context,
Yeah, like with the naivete of the rich mom and the whole thing with the son being an artistic genius.
autistic genius.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are your general thoughts about Parasite?
I loved it. One of my top movies. I wouldn't put it like in the. I might put it in the top 10, but definitely in like my top 20. Yeah,
Yep.
it was a great film. Kept me hooked throughout the whole thing. One thing that I had a gripe with, right? Not a gripe, but I just felt like they might have been more interesting, right? You could have swapped the brother and the sister's roles, and I feel like it could have either been the same movie or maybe better.
I think it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't. Yeah, exactly. Right. I just think the sister was a little more charming, or like what I want to say intelligent. They were all really smart.
But she was definitely the one that fit in the most. The film highlights that like she seemed like she'd been living there for years when they were kind of taking over the house. Whereas the insecurity of the brother is that he doesn't know if he fits in.
Yeah, they were like, it seems natural for them, but anyways, but I just really enjoyed the whole cast. The father did a great job. Honestly, the father, Ki-woon, right? That's his name, or Ki-woo.
Something like that.
Yeah, and he played the role perfectly.
Yeah. For me, this is definitely in like the top 5 films of the decade.
Okay, what is it in your top like movies list, like your personal one, or no?
I mean, it's one of my few fivers, so
Yeah?
it's definitely in the top
Okay,
50 minimum, right? Definitely one of the best ones of the decade. Parasite is. I think the score is one of my favorites.
That
The
was-
Belt of Faith
beautiful.
during the Peach montage. Da-da-dun, 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 da-da-dun. Really iconic. I love the way that fits in with the film. And I think what I love the most about the film is that it mixes like lower genre filmmaking where it's it kind of feels like Ocean's 11 during the Peach montage where it's like flashy,
I've never watched Ocean's 11.
but it feels like it's a flashy heist movie at some points. Like it's a
Oh yeah,
flashy
it felt
crime
like
film.
a crime. Well, it is a crime, but it felt again like a choreographed heist. you know?
Yeah, like I felt it. The Parasite literally becomes a heist movie for a little bit, and it has those like fun genre elements while also balancing the lower, the more grounded, more artistic messages.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a family drama that talks about class and discusses.
And it's also a con film.
Yeah, exactly.
so-
Like I like how it balances both being like the intimate family picture, or it's like a like low class family drama, while also having like really fun genre elements.
Yeah.
That's like feels pulled straight out of a blockbuster film almost for like little segments of it. Those sprinkles, like that Peach montage, is still very grounded in that environment that they're in, but I literally felt like I was watching
a completely
like
different movie.
like a it's almost like a Mission Impossible movie where they're pulling off some crazy stunt, right? And
They-
this is go ahead.
They also did that. I don't know if you felt the same way when they were hiding. How they were hiding, like when they just had 10 minutes to hide. Did you feel the same way, or not as much as the peach scene?
I'm not sure. The peach scene is just spectacular, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think during that, where they're trying to hide, is also
That's my. I
it's
think
like a
that's
prison break movie.
That's my top like scene in the movie. Again, don't want to get into spoilers because
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one, it'd be that.
Yeah. I think this is easily Bong Joon-ho's best film out of his whole filmography. It's gonna be hard for him to top this.
But he'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just great. It was a great moment because it was, I think, one of the first like foreign films that I saw really pierce
Yeah.
the mainstream. Like, it became popular beyond cinephiles, which is like, for some people, it's a hard ask to watch something from a different country. But
With subtitles, they can't understand it. Yeah.
yeah. So do you want to go dig into some deeper details?
Yeah. Hold on. That thing about like people getting into like foreign films. Do you think people really just aren't like open to like watching foreign films with subtitles and like that?
Well, I think that people are already watching less movies in general, and I guess you could say that it takes an explorative mind
Yeah.
to want to like intentionally venture out to like Korean cinema or
Something
or
you don't
European
understand,
cinema.
I guess, or aren't familiar with.
I think if people are watching less and less films that also incline like, then that means that not only they're watching like less and less foreign films, but they're also just watching less films regardless of the language. For just like the general consumer.
And it'd be
base.
like, why am I trying to watch a foreign film when I haven't even watched like all these other films, right?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get where you're coming from.
But I mean, there is just a whole ocean of foreign films that are spectacular. But what's nice is that they are becoming more popular than they are entering the mainstream more because of the way that the Academy has changed. That's an aspect, is that there's a lot more international voting in the
There,
Academy.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and so foreign films are getting more and more recognition. Like not just Parasite, but also there are films such as Anatomy of a Fall, which is a French film that also got,
When did that
recognition.
release?
I believe, 23.
So recent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you want to dig into spoiler territory?
Yeah.
Spoiler territory.
Might as well. You want to start from like the top?
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well. So when I walked into this movie, right, I missed like maybe like the first 2 minutes, right, because we got there a little late. But I already knew, poor family, struggling, right, and off the bat, you could tell there was something a little different from them. They weren't like lazy. They weren't like dumb, right? They were just impoverished, right? Which made me ask, either they had like really bad circumstances or I don't get it, because they were pretty skilled, right? Even like the dad was like a skilled driver, right? The kids were smart, right? The mom, well, she was just a like good mom, like she was good at what she did, right? So I'd say they were almost just as skilled as the rich family, right? But they're in completely different situations. I just found that very interesting.
I do like how they portray the rich family as like incredibly naive and kind of dumb because they don't assume anything different from their own culture, right?
Yep.
Like they completely fool, or they are completely fooled by the poor
act.
family. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I didn't see this established. Did the two kids, Kijun and Kiwoo, right, the brother and sister, it didn't seem to me like they were like educated, but they were like very knowledgeable about
They
a lot
had
of things.
different kind of
Education? What do you mean?
yeah. They had a different like talent, for lack of a better word. Like especially the daughter.
Yeah.
Was, like incredibly resourceful and was just really convincing, socially speaking. And like she's the one that came up with the whole like planting the trap in the car with her underwear.
Oh, yeah. Like literally in the situation.
Yeah, and she's the one that was easily the most natural at like conning and appearing as an expert in her field, which is really funny, given that obviously none of them knew anything in actuality.
Yeah. And I look at the rich family and like compared to them, maybe it's because like we didn't like focus on them, right?
Yeah.
But they just seem like on a different level compared to the rich family,
Yeah.
and they're still in this position.
I think the movie really takes off. I guess when he arrives, like at the house is when you start, like when the movie starts, but it like ascends when the old housekeeper arrives.
You think the movie starts when he gets to the house?
I think that's when the conning begins. Like, I think when, when he's walking down the stairs and he kind of gets an idea of like, oh, like I know this art teacher.
No,
Yeah,
he's
and
like
then-
already the act starts there.
yeah,
I guess that makes sense. I'd argue. I think it starts the moment he's like, "I know someone that can help you."
yeah,
That's when he like finally decides to lock in. He's like, "All right."
yeah. It's really fun the way that they do all that. It's fun seeing like the rehearsing scenes of them.
The whole like dialogue rehearsal, and she's like, "Dad, not like that. You sound yeah."
Yeah, like them training the father to convince the mom that the old housekeeper has
TV, yeah.
What were your favorite scenes throughout?
Again, the scene where they're hiding from the family because they canceled a camping trip, right? So they have like 10 minutes, right? The way they're running around.
The mom locked in.
The
bro.
mom said, "What the fuck is what was it? I don't even remember the meal."
I don't remember. Yeah, it was some meal that she'd never heard of before.
Yeah, it was hilarious. See, and that's what I mean. It was funny but tense at the same time. So
That scene where they're all eating together and having fun at the house, and then all collapses, is so good. Obviously, I think if I had to watch one scene as like the rewatchable scene, it'd be the peach montage.
yeah,
Yeah,
honestly, I did like the peach montage, but it doesn't stand out as much to me as it did to you. Like I enjoyed it, right? But I wouldn't say it's my top scene.
I like the way that it ascends of like they're rehearsing and you're hearing him convince the mom about the old housekeeper, and the score is ascending towards the mom walking up the stairs and seeing the old housekeeper coughing in slow motion, and then like that little final touch of him putting the ketchup,
Oh, into the napkin.
yeah, and then holding it up, man. Just the way that the score ascends in that scene, I like how it's a very easy to place beginning to end scene. That, to me,
That's
that's
true.
like one of the best scenes.
I do agree with that. The score was great for that scene.
Yeah, it's one of the best scenes like of the past decade for me.
You
Like,
think?
that's the
Yeah.
top. Yeah, I love that montage of them like flicking the peach. Yeah, but I think the best moment in the movie is probably like when they try to hide, because that's when they see that like the whole basement reveal happens, and that just completely flips the movie on its head and adds another layer, right?
If we're talking about scenes, I feel like it would be in that order: hiding scene, peach scene, but an underrated scene, in my opinion, one that I love personally, just
Yeah.
because of the actor. Actually, he did a great job. When they're doing the backstory as to why the kid like had a incident in first grade, or he has like a trauma, right? And it's because the guy under the basement hiding
shot
under
is
the
insane.
stairwell
Yeah,
scared him, making him think he was a ghost,
Yeah.
right? And he just comes up, and it's like
just his eyes.
just his eyes, and it is terrifying. Like
Yeah.
if I saw that, like I shit my pants. Like
Yeah, that was incredible. That is a great scene.
So that's probably one of my top scenes, and just because of that actor, he did a great job looking like psychotic.
Yeah,
I don't know his name, but
yeah.
he did great.
And the final scene in the backyard, it's pretty crazy. It's where,
The final scene was good,
yeah,
not a top scene.
it's definitely not near the peach or the.
I feel like it's very much
basement
lower.
reveal.
I did enjoy the ending, right? But
Yeah.
it's definitely
Yeah, I love the little aftermath of the basement scene where the whole family's out of the basement, but they're trying to escape, and the father is like sliding or gliding down the floor,
behind. Oh yeah.
And then the guy like wakes up. Yeah. You could just see his like bare feet.
See, that's what I mean. It's like a comedy,
Yeah.
but for us, not for them.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite movies. Yeah, talking about it just makes me want to rewatch it. I am gonna rewatch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should probably rewatch it with Elijah, who's gone on a spring break Hawaii trip.
Hi, Elijah.
Yeah, Mantis is skipping out on the
Bros,
Parasite pod.
bros in the tropics. Yeah.
Bros in the shop.
But yeah, I think we should all rewatch it, just because I feel like I missed a few things too.
It's incredible stuff. What else would you want to hit with Parasite?
We hit the score. Beautiful. Who made it?
Bong Joon-ho.
He made the score.
No. Oh, who's the composer?
Yeah.
I don't remember their name.
Okay. Whoever did it was great.
Yeah.
Honestly, my top the Taxi Driver score.
Whoa. So you think the Parasite score might be better than the
Might
Taxi
be.
Driver score?
Because I feel like, okay, the Taxi Driver score, I
Yeah.
could listen to that for like 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
But the Parasite score, that like made an emotion rise when I was watching it.
Yeah.
So
It's tough. I think I would choose the Taxi Driver score over the Parasite score.
you would?
Yeah, because it's so iconic. There's not that many sax scores that I could even think of. With Parasite, I'd say it's a little more traditional, and that doesn't make it worse. But I think Taxi Driver just sticks out, and it's featuring a melody that is just so iconic.
And I can't believe I watched 2 movies with the best scores I've seen and
Yeah.
heard like on the same day.
Yeah.
Taxi Driver and Parasite, same day. My eyes were blessed. Or my ears were blessed.
Did you actually
Like,
watch them on the same day?
yeah.
That's crazy.
I-
Did we?
I finished the Godfather trilogy. I
Yeah.
watched Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
We went to a Bounce, biggest bounce house in America. And then we went to watch Parasite.
That's right. Man, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't watch. Yeah, I guess we did watch 12 Angry, or we watched Taxi Driver and Parasite on the
Yeah.
same day. That's
You guys
crazy.
watched 12 Angry Men another day.
Yeah, we
pod,
did.
Pod episode when AJ gets back.
When AJ gets back in like a few months.
In a few months, yeah. Summer break.
Man, I don't really know what else to talk about. Funny enough, we're at
From the movie?
22-minute walk. Yeah,
Where, what?
22 minutes.
Oh, okay. Honestly, if it's a short episode, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind. But I think there's a few more things we could cover.
Yeah.
The actors, who do you think did the best job? Like, who is your favorite character?
I think my favorite character is probably Jessica or the mom
Jessica?
for opposite reasons.
The sister, right?
Yeah, the
Like
sister.
June.
Yeah, no, obviously her real name isn't Jessica. Yeah, the sister or the mom. The mom had a really funny performance, like playing that dumb or like not really dumb, but like really naive and kind. Mom could have been a little too cartoonish, but it just works.
It was right there.
Yeah, it just works, and it's like cartoonish and goofy, but it doesn't feel unrealistic.
And we're talking about the rich mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the best performer is tough. I think I'd have to give it to the poor dad.
The dad?
Yeah, the
He,
poor dad.
he did great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has the most moments where he has a strong emotional reaction to
yeah.
something, but doesn't have any lines of dialogue. It's
You
just
just see in his
a
face.
shot of his face. Yeah,
Is he like a prominent actor? I haven't seen him in too many things. So.
he's in other Bong Joon-ho films.
Okay.
Yeah, he plays the lead in Memories of Murder. So
Oh,
yeah,
all right. And so I would agree the dad is one of the top ones.
Yeah.
He'd be second in my book. I think the sister, she was so natural.
Jessica. Yeah, she's incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah,
And then third, the psychotic basement dweller, bro.
psychotic basement guy.
He made me laugh. He made me unsettled.
Yeah.
The only like gripe I had with him, right,
Yeah.
is that very end scene where he like yells respect.
Yeah.
And, like I was like, all right, calm down, bud. Yeah.
I really loved, and also I think the son is kind of the main character of the movie, and he plays it really well. Of like the aspirational,
Aspirational, like big eyed dream. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, one thing I want to ask you about.
yeah,
So you know how from the whole movie, every time we see the house, it's from the bottom of the hill.
Uh huh.
Every time, like, they're entering the house, right? It's gonna be from the bottom of the hill. We never see it. And they come in the other way, at least as far as I can remember, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the movie, there's one point where the main character, the son, right, Kiwu, I think that's how you say his name, is looking down on the house, actually. Right? And that's how he finds the Morse code. What do you think about that?
I think honestly, it's just circumstantial.
You think it's just circumstantial? I was
Yeah.
trying to see if like there was any meaning about it. I was like, I can't see it. He's not like in any different position. And if anything, he's worse off.
I think that scene though is probably like the only time that like really stretches that movie. Because there's some stuff that's a little wild, but it doesn't take me out of the film. Like how there's a guy that was living in the basement off of the family's rich family's food for years. That I could buy because the family's so rich that they probably just notice a few things missing, but like they don't really think about it. But at the same time, I don't see the dad setting out that like obnoxiously long letter
Every night.
Yeah, in Morse code. That's probably like the only
You don't see that?
gripe I have of the film. No, yeah.
See, I was thinking about it. I was like, man, who would do that in Morse code every night? But then again, I'm thinking like, man, if I was locked in a room for almost all 24 hours of my day, what am I
Yeah.
going to do?
That's true, but it's just like it's also lucky that the son arrives and he starts tracking the letter like from the beginning of the letter. Like he's just like there at the perfect time. Like what if he arrives like
Midway.
midway? And I guess you could assume that like he could come every night and like he's like putting it together.
Right? Like to maybe 2-3 days.
Yeah, and I guess just from a storytelling perspective, just this
It does
to be
make sense.
efficient, yeah.
But then again, it's like very circumstantial. I'm like,
yeah.
I guess I could agree with that. Also, you completely agree. That ending scene wasn't real where his father walks up, right?
Oh yeah. When he's just kind of envisioning that. 'Cause
Yeah.
it comes back to where
It's his dream, you know.
it's like just showing, like as he's writing the letter, his aspirations. Yeah. It's kind of a damning ending. It's just like that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, we know. Because he talked about the original title, right?
Yeah.
It was, I don't remember exactly. Like,
I don't remember it exactly either, but I think it was the amount of hours that he'd have to work.
yeah, like
Or the amount of days,
572 hours, something. Hours, amount of days that he'd have to work to afford that house,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they went with the title Parasite, though. I think
Yeah?
it really works. It's simple, but it explains the movie just perfectly. I really like the choices with the cinematography, the way that they divide the people of different classes with like the literal lines.
The little lines. Yeah, you're like talking about when the original housemaid is waking up the rich mom.
Yeah.
Right? That was
Yeah, and they're
depicted-
like divided by a line in like the glass.
And then
through
she
the
crosses the
window.
line when. Oh, that was another thing. Crossing the
Yeah,
line.
yeah.
We didn't talk about.
Yeah.
That was elaborated on a lot by the dad mainly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How he didn't want the poor class to like cross that line between them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how it played with that in the camera work of like in the static shots.
Mm.
There are shots of like the lines dividing them, but the movie would also do these like panning or spinning maneuvers with the camera where it's bridging them together whenever you could feel a risk or a time that the father was crossing the line. Like in the taxi when he keeps speaking about the dude's wife, right?
Yeah, like, so you love her, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's- the whole dad, the rich dad, right, being like, yeah, I love her. That was so hilarious.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it talks about the line, right? And it does show it, like, literally, with the basement, right? You know, and even them living underground, like, not just the crazy guy and the wife, you know, but the actual poor family, they live underground, like, under the line of, like, you know.
All right. Any wrapping thoughts?
Any rapping thoughts?
Yeah.
Let's see. What did you think of the mom? Like you said, she played it great, right?
Yeah.
But one thing, like I would have to say about it, is yes, she was naive and dumb, right?
Yeah.
But was she really?
I think she was. I think she was like, it was an innocence. I don't think she was just putting on an act. I think she was legitimately like just innocent and naive.
I feel like she couldn't see anybody doing that. It's more like of a
Yeah, like she couldn't imagine anyone doing what they were doing.
yeah. So I wouldn't even like put it on her.
She was still naive though.
Yeah. Do you think that's the like just main difference between the two families? One of them's like
I think the main thing that it portrays is that the rich mom couldn't imagine like people needing to do that because in her world and circumstances, people didn't have to do that. Like, I guess the best way of explaining it is like with the rain, how
there you go. See, I was trying to find out a way to like incorporate that, like the difference between classes and how they view things.
yeah.
There you go.
So with the rain on a phone call, she's saying like, "Oh, thank God for the rain. It's so nice outside." Yada yada. Whereas with the rich, like that rain was literally the worst thing that
It was catastrophic.
like the worst thing ever. And it's like the same thing happening to both sides, but it's just a completely different outlook in the way that they come out of it. It's like to her, it's like oh, it's pleasant.
Yeah, the way they
Yeah.
see things is completely different.
Yeah, and like probably like, and I'm sure that we do the same thing in our own lives. Is like not considering how it affects like lower
Yeah,
class.
like we're like, oh, we love the cold, right? But
Yeah.
here we are inside, you know, insulated and everything. But people are out there struggling. Like, yeah, it's really just how you see things.
Yeah,
And another thing about how the two different classes would see something.
yeah,
There's a lot of things we didn't talk about, but one thing I do also want to point out that was brought up a lot: the smell,
yeah,
the contrast in between smell between like the poor and the lower class. Because you know how he's like, oh, I don't like the dad's smell, right?
yeah,
The poor dad's smell, right? He's like, it smells like horseradish or something like that.
yeah,
Right. And that's one of the main reasons that the dad ends up killing the rich dad
yeah,
because he smelled the psychotic basement dweller.
yeah.
Right?
Psychotic basement dweller.
That's my name for him.
Iconic guy.
So the moment he like saw him as a reaction to the smell, it like just fueled something inside him.
Yeah. This is like a monumental film. It's one of those movies where it's like you could watch it as deep as you want to, and you could get into like
So
what
many
the film
things.
is saying about like class. And I'm sure there's so much that we're not even getting into. Like there are little throwaway lines that say so much. I like how, what's it called? When the mom is talking about the tent that's outside, and the tent that the kid is sleeping in.
The stupid kid. That kid pissed me off.
Yeah.
though.
She was like, yeah, it was made in America. It's like little stuff, little details like that all over the film, like The Rock and all these little.
We didn't even talk about
details.
The Rock. There's
Yeah.
so many small things that we could like gripe on for like hours. Honestly, yeah.
What did The Rock mean to you,
I don't.
Dwayne The Rock?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I like how The Rock meant nothing
Yeah.
to everybody except the son.
It was funny because, like, it's just The Rock, but it's supposed to bring great wealth. And I wonder what
Material
that-
wealth.
Yeah, like it was supposed to bring wealth, but it was also just a thing. But I thought it was a nice, like, visual element of the film that he's like carrying around that rock wherever he goes, and he's holding on to it.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I guess one
kind
thing.
of a lie.
Another small gripe. He wasn't very important, but I just kind of do wish they mentioned him a bit more. The friend at the beginning who gave him the rock
Yeah,
and introduced him to the whole family.
yeah.
It wasn't necessary for the movie. I just would kind of like. I don't like throwaway characters all that much.
Well, I mean, without him, the movie doesn't work at all.
That's true.
Yeah,
But again, like he was introduced. I'm just.
I think it makes sense. He had to go abroad. Yeah, like without him going abroad, the movie doesn't work either.
That's true.
Yeah, but yeah.
What
I
do you
think everyone has got to see it. Like this is just one of those movies where if you could watch it as dumb as you want, or it's like this is like an incredibly entertaining thriller that will entertain you from beginning to end, or you could watch it as smartly as you want to and get into the commentary and the politicism and the satire of it all.
That's why I want to rewatch it. Like, 'cause
Yeah,
I could just watch this movie and think about so many different things.
yeah. It's just the perfect film.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to get into?
For wrapping thoughts, I think we should just end it off with what's our ratings. Yeah.
Sure.
Where would you put that, like on a scale of 1 to 10?
This is a 10. This is a perfect film.
You put it on perfect 10.
Yeah, this is a perfect film.
All right. For me, I put it like on a 9.5, right? Cinematography, great. Score, great. Actors, great, right? One thing that like it just didn't do for me, right? I didn't feel too connected to any of the characters. I enjoyed them, right? But it didn't make me attached to like any of them. Like, yeah, I was upset when the sister died, right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't personally attached to any of the characters. So, but otherwise, perfect movie.
Yeah, this is a pitch perfect ensemble cast. They all do incredible, and this is just like it's great genre entertainment mixed with like art house cinema. It's perfect. Right?
Yeah.
I think next pod are we hitting Goodfellas, Raging Bull?
Next pod is Raging Bull.
Raging Bull. Yeah, that's the next film that we're hitting.
Should we do it? We'll probably try to do it right after the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just initial first time reactions.
Initial first time reactions. So next pod, be ready for Raging Bull reactions, first thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. I think in between. No, I guess that will be. When does Elijah get back? Saturday? He said he'd be gone for 10 days.
Yeah, he'll be back Saturday.
Yeah, Elijah, depending on the scheduling, I think me and Elijah might hit like a best films of 2024 pod or something like that.
All right. Yeah.
Or like a most anticipated films of 25. Something like that. I don't know. But the next classic film we're hitting is going to be Raging Bull.
We should probably include that. Like right now, we're just watching a whole list of movies between. Would you want to elaborate that because you made the list?
Yeah, we're going through a film canon that I just made up, and the criteria is that it's De Niro films versus Pacino films that are in the crime genre, leading all the way up to Heat, where they share the screen for the first time. So it's the dance, the rivalry, the dynamic between these two actors that both get recognition from the Godfather trilogy. Pacino blows up playing Michael Corleone, and De Niro also gets recognition for playing
Vito.
In The Godfather 2. That's where they circle each other, and they're in the same film but never share the screen, obviously. And then they sort of have this like pseudo rivalry where through the 70s, 80s, 90s, they're kind of like up for the same roles or both in like these all-time powerhouse crime films. And it was a big event in 95 when they meet up in Heat, which is what we're leading up to. That Heat pod
Heat pod is gonna
go crazy. The Heat pod. This is what this all leads up to. Is Heat. That's all that matters. Everything in life just leads up to Heat.
I'll end this podcast if we don't make it to Heat.
If we don't make it to Heat, there will be no more Goldfish Boys on the internet or in real life. I will never talk to Elijah or Sam ever again. Heat is all that matters.
It's true.
Heat is life. Heat is love. Heat is all things.
Heat is everything.
If you think about it, everything is just Heat. But the only problem is you haven't seen it yet. So
I like how I have no context.
I have no idea.
You're describing like the perfect film. Like
Heat is like the peak of humanity, which is what we're leading up to. The Heat pod is gonna be great.
Yeah, all these movies that Seth is showing us, none of us have watched them.
Yeah.
So we're all like first experience for this, and Seth is introducing us to all these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all exploring the beautiful world of cinema together. Just like with Parasite, we're going deeper and deeper into the basement. We're meeting more and more weird basement dwellers.
More weird, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much just look forward to the next pod. Probably gonna be Elijah back from his Hawaii trip. I'll probably be out for this next episode.
Unless I fire him.
That's true. Hey, bro, your stocks are getting kind of low.
I'm thinking of doing some solo pods.
Solo pods?
Yeah, I might even do some solo pods like in my bedroom.
Sounds
We're
fun.
just straight like just yapping, you know? Well, I mean, what else are we doing on a pod than yapping?
That's really, yeah. It's just two guys yapping, one guy yapping, three guys yapping.
Yeah. I'm thinking like we're still trying to figure out what this is. Yeah.
We're still like working on it. This is really just again, it's just guys yapping.
Yeah.
That's literally
because my dream would be that we delivered some level of value, and we have to work around the fact that like we're all at different levels as far as like film fanhood.
Yeah.
We also have different tastes, and we also have to figure out like what value we're actually like providing beyond the conversation. Like, we're not film experts.
No.
No. Like,
remember, these are just a bunch
These are
of college
random
guys giving their dumb opinions.
Yeah, we just like movies. We just love yapping about it. Like, I would say that we do it for free, but we like literally are doing it for free. Like, we have this stupid setup that we carved out. Yeah,
There's a like light just
yeah, my
magnetically
$50 LED lights attached to the ceiling.
attached. We're behind a playset, guys.
Gas, bro. Yeah, so it's like I love listening to the big picture. That's kind of what this podcast is based off of, also combined with the rewatchables. So those podcasts are like the big picture is a podcast where they just talk about like contemporary news with movies. So they watch all the new films. And they talk about like the general film landscape. Talk about how cinema is doing as a whole. It's called literally called the big picture.
That's what they bring to the like movie when they're talking about it.
Yeah, like Sean Fennessy actually, the host. Sean Fennessy actually has an extensive level of film knowledge, and he has connections where they interview the directors. Yeah, like they interviewed Bong Joon-ho leading up to Mickey 17.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, this is like a real podcast.
That's like yeah.
Yeah, and the rewatchables, they watch classic films, like they like rewatch them, and they go through like the fun categories, kind of like how we did with the Taxi Driver episode.
Oh, okay.
Most rewatchable scene.
The best fit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, the Frank Serpico Best Fit Award I came up with.
You came up with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's mine. The rest of the categories, Bill Simmons, I stole all those awards
He ripped
from
them.
you.
Don't come at us.
Don't-
we have nothing.
Please don't shut down our operation. All we have is this bowl of goldfish.
all
This
we got.
half bowl of goldfish is all we have. So yeah, we stole a lot of the categories from that pod. We're trying to figure out our own identity. I think the goal that we could start off with right now is like the whole gimmick of like I'm showing films to my friends that they haven't seen, that they should have seen a long time ago.
Oh, that we should have been on.
Yeah.
You're like, how have you not watched every movie
Yeah.
we watched? Steph's like, how have you guys not seen it?
But we're doing a first time Parasite pod in 2025. Shut us down. Bill Simmons, come after us.
We're too late.
We're late to the party.
People are gonna be like, why is this released like 2 days ago? Parasite came out.
It's in prep for Mickey 17, which we're really excited. Maybe we could hit that pod.
Yeah.
When Elijah comes back. I promised Elijah, I pinky sweared that I would wait for him to come back from Hawaii before watching Mickey 17. I already saw it. I'm just kidding. I'm pranking you. Don't freak out.
So if he doesn't watch us,
To all our viewers, you don't do that to your friends. Don't do that to your buddies.
never lie.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably out there in Hawaii watching it right now. But anyhow,
He's harassing the locals.
yeah, he is. Yeah, I don't know. To all our no viewers out there, man, what do y'all think of this setup?
Yeah. Gas.
I think there's gonna be a day when we have like 100 million listeners, and they're gonna look back and like, wow, look at these origins.
And they'd be like, wow, they still have that easel.
Bro, we stole this easel from the kids, man, from the children.
They had their ABCs around that. There's a race.
with the beautiful. Yeah, we're taking away the education of little children
For our podcast.
for our pod about movies that everyone has seen before and probably have better opinions on. We have a kitchen thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a carpet.
That's about it. Again,
Goldfish boys.
Goldfish boys.
What are your goals with the pod?
I am generally just enjoying talking with my friends.
Yeah.
That's my goal. I will help them out with what they need.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think for me, the pod is like, we already talk about movies so much.
Yeah.
Like at our Bible study or when we're just hanging out or even after a movie, we're already just only yapping about movies. And the only difference is that we're just recording it.
Yeah. We're in
That's
front of a
pretty
camera.
much it. Yeah, we're just putting a camera up and then like just yapping. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I think my goal is like, as far as the ceiling of the pod, I think something that annoys me about film discourse, especially online, is that a lot of people will just be like, this movie's mid or just sucks.
And that's the whole opinion or what?
Yeah, like that's the whole opinion. And I think that is so stupid because there is so much, obviously, there's so much work and so much care that comes into even the worst of films.
Yeah.
And I think that like the culture is going in a poor direction if every work of art is just reduced to mid
Mid.
or not mid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid, not mid gas.
Yeah. Mid, not mid gas, can't be the end of like the discourse when it comes to pieces of art. So, I guess it's also like an invitation to talk about it more and get into why something is something we dislike
Yeah,
or something we love. Yeah.
I agree. That's mainly the point of this podcast, just for us to talk about the movies we love.
No, the point of this podcast is to make sure that all the films that are succeeding are actually dwindling in their returns.
Yeah, we're not helping, but yeah.
The reason why we're doing this podcast is so that people will watch Parasite and feel motivated to never watch a foreign film ever again.
Sorry for turning you guys away from this movie. We probably made it sound like
Yeah. Like, these guys are dumb. I shouldn't watch this movie.
like, man, this movie's probably ass. And these guys are
What are they talking about? Some basement dweller. Let me scroll on TikTok instead.
just ruins the man's best work.
Yeah. All right. I'm happy with where that pod ended. This kind of became Parasite / What is Goldfish Boys?
Yeah,
pod.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because we never
Nice.
really established that episode 1, so
No.
yeah.
I think it'll be a nice thing to bring up every pod. Be like, this is Goldfish Boys.
Yeah.
Welcome.
We'll talk about it more with Elijah. So I guess we'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Go fish, boys.
Goldfish Boys.
Let's go.
All right. I think that was a good pod.
Yeah. How long did that run?